National capital Juba. Who's me, Abraham Aken. We thank you all for joining us. Now, President Salva Kiir has directed the governors of Warab, Upper Nile and Jonglei states to intensify grassroots engagement to foster peace and unity as key pillars for the effective delivery of essential services in their respective areas. The president issued the directive during a series of meetings with the state leaders in his office on Monday. SSBC's Alejandro Lotok reports.
Over the security and humanitarian situation in various parts of the country, President Salva Kiir Mayardit has renewed his call for an end to violence and urged all citizens to choose peace and reconciliation for the betterment of the nation. The president made the appeal on Monday as he received updates from the state governors, beginning with Dr. Yagai Kok of Jonglei State. Governor Kok informed the president that the security in Jonglei is currently stable. President Kiir, on his part, commended Governor Kok for his leadership and reaffirmed the national government's commitment to supporting local peace initiatives, pledging ongoing collaboration to achieve lasting stability across Jonglei and beyond.
نؤكد للمواطن في جنوب السودان إنه الأوضاع في ولاية جونغلي مستقرة تماما. المشاكل اللي كانت بتحصل بين القبائل بعد ما we started to engage الجراس روتس خاصة الشباب والمرأة والسلاطين والإداريين هم كله قبلوا رسالة تاع السيد رئيس الجمهورية إنه الناس تعيش في سلام. نورت السيد رئيس الجمهورية بالنسبة لمؤتمر في شهر 6 دي يجمع قبائل المرلة وجيرانهم من دنكبور واللو والقاور عشان يناقشوا كيف يعيشوا في سلام. والرئيس رحب بهذه الفكرة وأبدأ إنه بدعم هذا المؤتمر وطلبنا إنه يكون في تمثيل من المركز لهذا المؤتمر.
In a separate briefing, the president heard from Governor James Kong Chol of Upper Nile State. Governor Kong reported notable improvements in the region, especially following recent unrest in Wulang and Nasser counties. According to the governor, many displaced families have begun returning to their homes in Wulang and Nasser, an encouraging sign of improved security and restored public confidence.
I briefed the president and the commander in chief about the security situation for Nile State in general, and the security situation is quite normal in all the 13 counties except the Penyakang County. The humanitarian situation also, I briefed him. The food which had been dropped to Nasser and Wulang County is really helped a lot, and the people are coming back. Is really the congratulation is coming back to the president, who have really delivered this food to his people. The situation in the area is quite normal. People return to Nasser in big number. They have collected food, and they have really came to come and stay in the town.
Meanwhile, the president has instructed newly appointed governor of Warab State, Bolweka Goth, to immediately go home and address rising insecurity in the area. President Kiir assured Governor Wek of full support from the national leadership as he embarks on effort to restore law and order in the region plagued by intercommunal violence.
What is impressive about this meeting, he said he's going to support me 100%. My assignment is to bring peace and harmony in Warab State, is to bring security, is to bring development, and overall some stability so that people of Warab can engage in productivity. Having had a word of encouragement from him, I'm assured that I will get the support I need. The support I need is to talk to my people of Warab, give them the words of our president. If there are issues, we should resolve them and get reconciled so that we deal with the challenges of climate change, challenges of poverty, challenges of insecurity.
As the country continues to confront challenges on multiple fronts, Monday's briefing reflects renewed efforts by both national and state leaders to forge a path of reconciliation, development, and enduring peace across South Sudan. Alejandro Lotok, SSBC News.
The South Sudan People's Defense Forces have launched a disarmament campaign in Warab State and Mayom County of Unity State following a presidential order declaring a 6-month state of emergency to restore order. According to SSBDF spokesperson Major General Lulwai Kong, the operation will roll out in 2 phases: voluntary and forceful disarmament. A 1-week grace period had been given for armed youth to surrender weapons peacefully. After that, peaceful disarmament will begin across the affected areas. SSBDF stresses the campaign is in line with the legal frameworks and urges all armed youth to cooperate, warning that non-compliance will attract strict consequences. And humanitarian authorities have issued an alert over imminent flooding in parts of the country. Regional meteorological data points to excessive rainfall that could impact up to 4.4 million people, particularly in lowland areas across central Equatoria, Jonglei, Upper Nile, Unity and Warab states. The alert was announced during a briefing on Monday in Juba between the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Albino Kolatak, and the United Nations Humanitarian and Resident Coordinator, Nita Kiki. Speaking to SSBC, Minister Albino Kol revealed that recent regional forecast signal above average rainfall likely to trigger widespread flooding, adding that the ministry, in collaboration with humanitarian partners, will intensify preparations, including the reactivation of crisis management committees to enhance early warning system and coordinate rapid response measures. The UN Humanitarian and Resident Coordinator, Nita Kiki, reaffirms the commitment of the United Nations to providing technical support and guidance to mitigate the impact of potential flooding.
In this planning, as usual, we bring on board all the stakeholders, government institutions and the partners, so that we look at what is it going to be affected and what is the magnitude, and then we plan how do we mitigate that impact on our people. We have now projected two scenarios. One, we say that 1.4 million will be affected, and mostly in 6 states as we started last year, and it of course will go to the other states. And the worst scenario will be 4.4 million people that will be affected. And this is because of the projection made by Meteorological Department that between July to September, the rain will fall in above normal way. With this preparation, we want to say that we are, going to expedite the preparations so that we put in place the response plan before that time that we have mentioned, so that we are ready before time.
Unfortunately, we expect that the floods are going to be similar to last year. In a most likely case scenario, we'll see 1.4 million people affected. In a worst case scenario, we could see over 4 million people affected. The purpose of our discussion today was to see how quickly we can put in place structures that allow us to coordinate and respond in a similar fashion or even more efficiently and effectively than we did last year. This includes ensuring that our flood preparedness task forces are in place under the leadership of government. It includes ensuring that communities have messages. They're very clear about what's.
The UN has reaffirmed its continued support to the country's agriculture sector to boost food security. Humanitarian Coordinator Nita Kiki stated this on Monday in a meeting with the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Hussein Abdelbagi Akol, who briefed her on preparations for the upcoming agriculture conference in Juba, focusing on supporting mechanization for sustainable development.
And in principle, the UN body, they say that they are ready to support the ministry in holding of this conference. We also touch on issue of establishment of agro-mechanical service center. Instead of distributing tractors to individual, tractors can be put into those locations across the country in the 10 state and 3 administrative area. Those who are interested in farming can go and acquire the tractor, and then they do the work, provided that at the end of the day they will have to pay back for the service that the tractor and the input is going to give to them. We also touch on this issue of food insecurity or food security under the IPC, which they agree in principle that they are going to launch the result in 2 to 3 days' time together, and then the deputy country representative will give their time as when to participate in that launching process. And the discussion was very good indeed. The minister was very happy, and we expect that this type of cooperation continue, at least to boost agricultural production and the food security in the whole country.
We spoke about agro-mechanical centers, a vision of the ministry. We spoke about using land or having land apportioned in different parts of the country that could be used for demonstration farms and many such issues. The minister and myself recognize that this year is a particularly difficult year. We're not seeing the kind of resources we've had in the past, and the discussion was how within existing resources and with government in the lead, we could do less better when it comes to agriculture. So all in all, a good meeting to discuss how we can focus and prioritize.
The United Kingdom has expressed its interest to supporting peace and development in South Sudan. British Ambassador David Ashley made the statement during a meeting with the Minister of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism in Juba that concentrated on increasing the Kingdom's role in strengthening the wildlife conservation in South Sudan. Martin Justin Paul Kose reports.
The Minister of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism, Rizi Zakaria Hassan, and the Ambassador of the United Kingdom, David Ashley, brainstormed on the future of joint cooperation between Juba and London with focus on protecting nature and wildlife. The British diplomat says the United Kingdom is keenly interested in the process to restore peace and security in South Sudan to set the stage for proactive and sustainable development in the country.
Both from a nature perspective and from a development perspective, that South Sudan is able to protect its nature, its wildlife, and to, in due course, provide the security and the infrastructure so that tourists can come and thereby contribute to the economy of South Sudan. So the UK is already supporting in a small way through our funding to Flora and Fauna International for its work in Western Equatoria. We discussed with His Excellency the Minister possible future cooperation.
The Minister of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism says the discussions touch on the advisory role of King Charles on wildlife conservation.
This meeting we have discussed several issues, of which first I have emphasized on the position of His Majesty King Charles on his advocacy on wildlife conservation and tourism, as well as also we sense the realities that most of our protected areas were being established during the Britain management.
He refers to a preliminary agreement on strengthening the national wildlife protecting system through partnership and cooperation with the United Kingdom.
Focus on the possibilities of the partnerships. What will be the most likely relevant areas that we should pick to develop within our general conservation, as well as the presence of one of the Britain organization on the ground, which is the FFI, Fauna and Flora International, that they are operating in a major part in Western Equatoria. We now have reached certain areas of possible strengthening of conservation through the ongoing partnership.
Interestingly, most of the national parks and game reserves were established in the Sudan during the Anglo-Egyptian condominium administration. Martin Justin Paul Kose, SSBC, Juba.
The first Advisory Council and 30th Annual Assembly of the East African Communication Organization commences in Juba. The meeting is discussing broader issues concerning the region's advancement of the telecommunication sectors. SSBC's Abate Simon compiled this report and voiced by Dengachol.
Council and assemblies are attempting to create opportunities for EACO, East African Communication Organization member states, and partners to interact, network, exchange and share experiences under the theme Shaping the Future of the East African Region through Digital Transformation. The chairperson of board of the East African Communication Organization, EACO, Dr. Samuel Muhuzi, says members of the Advisory Council and assemblies and stakeholders are expected to reach a tangible result for a better East Africa region.
This is not just a vision. It's a mandate that calls upon all of us to drive the kind of innovation, harmonization, and policy foresight that will empower our citizens and economies in the digital age. Today, we commence the week with our committees and working group sessions, which are the engine of EACO's technical and policy development. These sessions allow our experts and stakeholders to dive deep into key thematic areas that are vital to the communication sector in our region.
The Director General of the National Communication Authority, Gethkon Mathiankun, says the Advisory Council targets delegates comprising of policymakers, legislators, regulators, operators and service providers in the ICT sector, academia and consumers of ICT services in the East African region to address the needs and concerns of quality service delivery.
For South Sudan, hosting this event and participating fully in each session reflect our growth and belief in regional solidarity. It is essential to remember that the policy, recommendation, and technical standard will adapt and will have effect on the life of every citizen. For the remote farmers utilizing mobile services to the young entrepreneur. Developing digital startup within population nearing 200 million.
The East African Communication Organization Executive Director, Dr. Yaya Simba, confirms the body as a strategic plan in line with organization's aspiration of promoting cooperation among stakeholders in the development and provision of ICT services in the East Africa region.
This term is not merely a statement, it's a reflection of collective aspiration of our region to harness the power of information and the communication technologies for sustainable socio-economic development. Since its establishment, EACO has remained steadfast in its core mandate to strengthen and promote cooperation among East African community partner states in the development and provision of postal, telecommunication, and broadcasting services.
The conference centered on strategies to better consumer protection by advising means to safeguard consumer interests through enforcing quality standards and addressing compliance in the communication sector. Deng Achol, SSBC News, Juba.
Coming up, government expresses readiness to addressing mineral smuggling at Juba International Airport and other entry points. We will have that story right here after a short break. Please do stay with us. Welcome back. The Ministry of Mining and South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority has convened to address the alleged mineral smuggling. The ministry's Undersecretary Dr. Matiok Santino Quen stressed the negative effects of mineral smuggling and illegal trade to the country's economy and development, appealing to the public to report such malpractices to the concerned authorities. The Director General of the South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority, John Waja, expressed his readiness to supporting the ministry in addressing mineral smuggling at Juba International Airport and other entry points.
Smuggling for gold, precious minerals in the Republic of South Sudan become a great challenge that is underpinning the performance, and it has become a major challenge to Ministry of Mines. We call all the relevant stakeholders, partners, our government, law enforcement agencies, to ensure that any minerals being smuggled in has to be reported to the relevant authority. A Ministry of Mining has a mandate and role to give a license to a gold and other minerals that are relevant to be exported outside the country. So therefore, we have held this meeting to discuss on how we can curb and how we can handle the issues pertaining the smuggling in Juba International Airport. Those who fail for non-compliance will be apprehended and the law will take its role.
Of recent, we have arrested gold, even uniforms and some arms, and they are all reported to the Security for investigation. We have reinforced our manpower by enhancing their capacity to ensure that every person going through our airports must follow the procedure. Therefore, I want to inform the public that do not move with smuggled goods. Follow the law. If you are dealing in gold mining, whether business, you must follow the procedure, the law in South Sudan. Do not come with your gold or any other dangerous goods that are not.
The Inspector General of Police, General Abraham Manyuat Peter, accompanied by his assistants for logistics, the Assistant Inspector General for Central Equatorial State and other senior police officers inspected the 22,000 square meters land allocated to the National Police Service since 2011 by Lokiliri community. Speaking at the site, Police Chief General Manyuat Peter commended the people of Lokiliri Payam for allocating the land, describing it as a milestone to promote development, security and peace in the area. The Buma administrator, who spoke on behalf of Kudu, Luis Ladu, says they would officially hand over the land documents to the police.
We came to check the plot which was given to us in situ here. They are going to demarcate it using the GPS, and then it will be handed over. This is the start for the development and peace. I thank the Payam administrators who already planned for this since 2011, and it is in their demarcation. And also we thank the chiefs who have told us about this issue, and they are with us because they are concerned with the population.
For community kaman bardo zaman dak di mahal dele polisi al inno lazim kele yakun fi majrid kele yakun lazim kele amalo lakini ana mutakid bi wujud fitak zama inta jaita ziyara midani de aksan haja o ka nihna buma ana
Effort to boost the SPLM activities across the country, the Office of the First Lady has donated 2 cars to the SPLM Women League to facilitate the party's programs. Speaking to SSBC upon receiving the donation, a member of the SPLM Liberation Council, Mary Nyawulang, says the vehicles would contribute effectively in boosting the activities of the Women League, with the SPLM Secretary for Political Affairs, Bol Makweng, acknowledging the contributions of the First Lady Mary Ayan, which began during the liberation struggle.
Today we are here and very grateful to Almighty God and to the mighty SPLM party, and for Her Excellency Mama Mary Ayan Mayardit being an advisor to the women of the SPLM Women League. Today we are here delegated to come and give a gift of a car to allow the women of the SPLM, under the leadership of our comrade Book Gervas Makwaj, for her, so that she can be able to move with the team, so that they can be able to mobilize the women of the SPLM to support the peace within the country. She contributed 2 vehicles, one for the chairperson and the other one for the Women League, because they have more than 10 offices. There are secretaries of different committees, so that they can be able to reach out all our SPLM women constituencies within the country.
On behalf of the SPLM National Secretariat, I'm today receiving a car and a bus as donated to the SPLM Women League by Mama Ayan Mayardit, the First Lady of South Sudan. SPLM is very grateful to have received this, specifically from a leader and a mother of the country, our nation. You may recall that Mama Ayan is a general in the army, and the women who form the Women League today were also fighters. And in recognition of their contribution during the struggle, Mama Ayan Mayardit, on behalf of Concern, donated these 2 vehicles. And our women are happy to receive them.
We now cross over to Malut County in Upper Nile State, where Commissioner Manuel Awajagur, accompanied by the county's health official, inspected the health situation in Kilo Acheren and Panomdit Payams following cholera outbreak that killed 4 people and 40 others infected. The patients being treated at Paloch Hospital and Kor Adar Health Unit. In a statement to SSBC, Commissioner Wajagur calls on government and health agencies to urgently intervene to curb the spread of the cholera in the county. Malut County Health Department Director Joseph Chaka explains the preventive measures taken by the health authorities, including provision of chlorine to purify drinking water to curb the spread of the disease.
outbreak بتاعت الكوليرا ظهر قبل اسبوعين زي ما ذكر الدكتور قدامي. كنا في بنمديد ورفعنا الموضوع دي والنتيجه كلها طلع بوزيتيف، لكن للاسف النتيجه ده جاء متاخر ولا سنين ما لقينا دعم من الجهات ثاني. هسه انا بناشد المنظمات اللي قالوا يجيب لنا دعم في حاجه بسيط زي ما ذكر الدكتور، جاء من الناس بتاع اللي هو المنظمه الصحه العالميه وادونا دريبات بسيطه، لكن افتكروا حاجه دي ما بسيط. طالما انه خلاص الشغل ده من اول بريك لتو بيام بس البنمدي وقدوره، والمنطقه دي محول بالسكان يعني الناس هنا كتار. فالدول البسيطه كان جاء من جهه الرهوده انا افتكر انه ما كفايه، وهسه الناس دي مش شرط جسد الدواء، لكن بالليل بنحول بشكل الامكان الموجود هناك في المضاد بنقوم نحول لهم بالليل ده عشان يجي، لانه ما معروف ممكن بالليل يحصل اكثر من عدد الاسئله الموجود معنا. والناس لسه مواصلين 6 علاج، الناس اللي عملوا لهم ادميتد لانه بس اللي عملوا ديسشارج من اول امبارح تقريبا حوالي 3 نفر عملوا لهم ديسشارج، لكن لسه ادميتد الناس اللي في ادميشن ناس 7 نفر وممكن يزيد.
مدير مركز بي سي سي ذكروا من امبارح ليوم الليله عنده 15 نفر وهو خرج نفرين وعنده حالتين حولوا للمنطقه بتاع فرلج، وهسه الجوع عندنا 7 حاله في حاليا قاعد نتكلم فيه، عندنا 7 حاله وما في حاله بتاع الوفاه، يعني بنشكر ربنا في الحته ده. وهو بيشكي انه عنده شتش في اي في فلويد، طبعا هنا قاعد نعالجه باي في فلويد.
To Abyei administrative area, where Information and Health Ministries as well as Abyei Town Municipality launched a general cleaning campaign under the auspices of the Chief Administrator Charles Abyei Jok. The campaign under the theme towards a clean, healthy and sustainable environment to serve the citizens of Abyei aims at promoting clean environment. Information Minister Johanna Akol Ngor says the aim of the campaign is to prevent the spread of disease in the area. Malik Biem, Executive Director of the Abyei Town Municipality, confirms the municipality's readiness to ensure clean and healthy environment. The chairperson of the civil society organization, Rose Mointoch, calls on the public to maintain hygiene and prevent diseases.
بدأت الليلة حملة عامة لنظافة المدينة في كل الأحياء. بدأت النظافة في المتاجر أو في الأسواق العامة، النظافة بدأت فيه، والحملة ده تحت شعار أجهزة نظيفة وبيئة.
Now in sports, Kampala Queens have claimed a 2-0 victory over South Sudan's Yei Joint Stars in an international friendly held at Juba National Stadium. The match was part of the 2025 Sports Gala, proudly sponsored by the South Sudan Revenue Authority. Ugandan champion Kampala Queens struck early with Mudua Peace opening the scoring, followed by a well-taken goal from team captain Naguya Shamriata. Both in the first half, despite determined efforts from the home side, the visitors maintained control of possession and comfortably held onto their lead. Following the match, trophies and medals were awarded to celebrate sportsmanship and participation. Yei Legends took home an Corporate League trophy, while Kampala Queens were officially crowned winners of the international friendly.
Uganda's Kampala Queens defeated South Sudan's Yei Joint Stars 2-0 in an international women's football friendly at Juba National Stadium. The match was part of the 2025 Sports Gala organized by Yei Joint Stars and sponsored by South Sudan Revenue Authority. The fixture aimed to foster interaction between South Sudan's National League champions and Uganda's Super League champions, using sport as a platform to promote peace and regional unity. Kampala Queens opened the scoring in the 10th minutes through Mudua Peace before captain Nalugia Shamira made it 2-0 with a header in the 17th minute. Despite tactical adjustments from Yei Joint Stars, the Ugandan champions maintained their lead until the final whistle. After the match, both teams received trophies symbolizing friendship and cooperation through sports. Other awards were also presented, including the Corporate League title won by Yei Legends. For SSBC News, I'm Emmanuel Patrick, Juba National Stadium.
And that is Pond Story bringing us to the end of our news. From me, Abraham Aken, and the whole team here, we thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.